Which children's movie is actually sad, disturbing? A Little Princess. It was hard to watch as a kid. Especially when she heard the news about her dad and the way she was treated. It was heartbreaking. The Rescuers. When Penny is forced to get the diamond out of the cave, it's so cramped and claustrophobic and the tide just keeps rising and they won't pull her out until she finds it. Terrifying. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is darker than I remember as a child. The one torture scene took me by surprise because I definitely didn't remember that. How about the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from the 60s? Watching it as an adult I am shocked how damn mean Santa is. And Rudolph's parents are pretty terrible too. My Girl. When Vada starts crying about how he needs his glasses, it gets me every time. The Brave Little Toaster. Return to Oz. The first Land Before Time movie is a lot darker and sadder than the sequels that followed. James and the Giant Peach. That movie fucked me up and I'm not really sure why. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Dumbo. When they separate him from his mom, and Bambi when his mom is shot. My parents had to take us home because we were so traumatized. Thanks. Walt Disney. Brother Bear. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. The Child Catcher is scary AF. The Fox and the Hound is one of the saddest movies I've seen. Also, the full song Puff the Magic Dragon really gets me every time. The Prince of Egypt had two scenes that messed me up as a kid. 1. Moses learning the Egyptians were feeding the babies to crocodiles. 2. The death of the firstborns. Also the 10 Plagues song was super chilling. The chanting? Spooky. Still probably in my top 5 favorite animated films. The original animated Charlotte's Web. Fuck that song. The spider sings right before she dies and leaves Wilbur all alone. Still makes me tear up. Where the Wild Things Are. Maybe a decent book but the film. Sad and unsettling. The Never-Ending Story Horse in the Mud scene. Some wounds never heal. The Snowman. I still can't watch the end to this day. Some darkness just gets seen by a kid too early. Bridge to Therabisha is the saddest children's movie I've ever seen. The Last Unicorn. Never-Ending Story is fucked up. Toy Story 3 when they all hold hands and accept death by incineration was disturbing as shit. The Secret of NIMH was fucking terrifying when I was little. But I also loved it. The Little Prince. Netflix movie that will give you plenty of feels for the day. Christopher Robin had me crying when all I was after was a cute Winnie the Pooh and Pals adventure. Matilda. Dude, her parents were thieving assholes who, when the cops were pursuing them, just signed over their rights to Miss Honey no problem. In real life, no matter what assholes her parents were. This is devastating to a child. I love the movie though. Edit. Fuck, I forgot to mention the Trunchbull tossing kids over the fence by their ponytails or locking them in the chokey. Okay, but does anyone remember Madeline? Lost in Paris? Because I sure as hell do, and it scared the shit out of me. I vividly remember sitting on a plastic slide in my local Blockbuster Video while my mom shopped for a movie while it played. It basically goes like this. Our beloved little 8-year-old orphaned heroine Madeline is enjoying her life in Parisian boarding school when she receives a mysterious letter from a long-lost uncle who has just learned of her existence and wants to come take her to Vienna to live with him. So this guy shows up and woos all the children and the teacher with tales of his decadent life in an Austrian castle. And then he and Madeline are off, but they don't head to the train to go to Vienna. Oh no, they take the metro to a random scary ladies' shop on the outskirts of town where Madeline is sold into slavery in this ladies' literal underground textile sweatshop. Yup, she is then shoved into this lady's basement where she meets a bunch of other girls. And she is given a bunch of lace to hand stitch in the dark. This lovely children's film features the scary lady cutting off children's hair for making mistakes in their work, throwing and locking Madeline in a dungeon. A girl nearly losing her eyesight due to the darkness of the basement and black lace she is constantly staring at, and plenty of hitting and starving of the children. It is finally resolved when Madeline's dog and her friend Pepito trace her back to the sweatshop and rescue her and the other enslaved little girls. But not before giving me and every child who watched it plenty of nightmare fuel and brand new reasons to be terrified of stranger. And lace. And basements. That shit scarred me for life, and it was so messed up I literally thought I hallucinated it. BC, who the fuck thought that makes a good kids movie? TLDR, irreparably scarred by a kidnapping and child trafficking themed Madeline cartoon from 1999. Monster House. Disturbing and sad at the same fucking time. I remembered watching it as a kid and freaking out about the whole story. Hunchback of Notre Dame for me. As a kid I hated Frollo for obvious reasons. Getting older and looking at it again, Frollo is for me the most disturbing character in the Disney movies. He has so many issues, and the worst part is no magic, no only in movie stuff or anything has to do with it. Just a character with an unhealthy obsession that could walk down the street IRL. After lockdown, that is. So yeah, it is disturbing once you notice that detail. The movie. 9. It was kinda forgotten, but fucking hell, it was a weird movie. Edit. Ha. You thought I was gonna say. Wow 2. Up votes. But actually I changed. 9. 2. 9. I've also heard that neither are kids' movies. Do I care? Neen. The Black Cauldron. Coraline. Is kinda fucking terrifying. Watership Down. Bambi. The kids in a series of unfortunate events will probably never be happy in their life. Coraline is the most sad and disturbing kids movie ever made. I had nightmares for weeks. I hardly slept. And when I did, I had all the lights on. I still have the occasional nightmare that consists of a door appearing in my wall and two people coming for my eyes with buttons in their hands. Chicken Run. Is no one gonna talk about 101 Dalmatians? Up. Makes me sad. Everything about that movie feels so lonely. Caroline is disturbing. Grave of the Fireflies. I have not met anyone who didn't sob at the ending. The Iron Giant. The ending where he dies and says that he's Superman. Where the Red Fern Grows. We read the book in class and knew what to expect, but still the whole class was bawling. Narnia. When Aslan is shaven and then sacrificed. 9-year-old me kept yelling, "No, no," in the back of my mind. Matilda. I mean, child abuse? Fear of authorities? A teacher that lost her father due to suicide? Overall violence? It's dark. I don't know if Studio Ghibli movies can be considered for kids specifically. But Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke have disturbing parts. The Witches. 1990. Seeing that movie as a kid fucked me up so much. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder himself spoke in detail about how it was his view that some parents actively didn't show their kids the film until they were, quote, old enough. Even though the film is universally known as a kid's film. Think about it though. A creepy old man invites 5 kids to his factory before encouraging them to eat loads of candy before making them disappear one by one in ways perfectly crafted to their sinful personality types. Sounds strange? That's because it damn well is. I've heard people compare it to the 1995 horror crime film 7, minus the obvious head in box cliché. Add in a clearly hallucinogenic inspired boat ride and an army of slave workers and you have a well messed up film. Don't get me wrong. I love this film to bits. I think Pure Imagination is perhaps one of the best movie songs ever written. However, it's clear to see that it doesn't take much to turn this child-friendly movie into a hellish nightmare. I think Tim Burton in his remake actually made a less disturbing film than the original. Which is really saying something to Tim Burton. Loads of people have spoken about it in more detail and length than I have, and I encourage anyone reading this to check them out. Pagemaster. Edit. The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scene. Scarred my children. Pinocchio. Fuck that shit. I can't even appreciate it as an adult. Who thought this would be a good idea for a kid's movie? Where the Wild Things Are is actually quite sad. Probably. And disturbing if you watch some of its scenes. I know the studio decided not to position it as a children's movie, but it's based on a book that aimed at young children. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I saw it once when I was 11 and I was so freaked out I never saw it again. My dad bought me a bootleg Animal Farm movie. Cartoon one. From a thrift store near our house. Don't remember much. But I know I was real sad by the end. Disney's Dumbo. The one from the 40s or 50s. I only realize now as an adult how heavy and disturbing it was. We only had like 3 movies on VHS. Dumbo was one of them, so I'd watch over and over again. The baby Dumbo looks weird and gets bullied. The mom defends Dumbo from a group of antagonizing boys and is consequently labeled mad, and gets sent to elephant prison. Dumbo watches his mother get taken and put into chains. She's fighting for him the whole time but isn't stronger than the brutal police. I'm tearing up now as I'm typing this. He grows up without her. When I was little I saw the SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob and Patrick go out of the water and are taken by the diver guy and they turn into sponges. Something about them being taken against their will and the creepy diver helmet scared the shit out of me. I swear I has nightmares for weeks. I get chills still thinking about that. Hey. Watership Down scared the crap out of me when the farmer plowed the fields. Edit. I thought I was the only one this film scared. Seems I wasn't. It's the only time I've had to put my hands over my eyes watching a film. I had to tell my mum to tell me when it was safe to watch again. Mrs. Doubtfire. As a child, you think it's funny to see a grown having to crossdress to spend time with his own children. As an adult, I see it as a tragic tale of a grown having to crossdress to spend time with his own children. Robin Williams was that good. Also, my favorite part is when he throws a lemon at Pierce Brosnan's head. Once upon a forest. Poison gas spreads through a forest while murdering woodland critters. The Dark Crystal kinda fucked me up as a kid. The scene where they drain the podlings is so fucked up for a kid's movie.